Okay, beautiful. Welcome everybody to today's residual income financial literacy webinar. I really want to thank you for taking the time to be here. I'm personally really excited about this topic, and I know others here are as well. So let's dive in and make it really worthwhile for your time. So the idea for this webinar really came from about a week or so ago. I had put a little note in my Instagram, that new feature that says leave a note. And I said, do you have residual income yet? And I had a whole bunch of people message me back, I don't know what that is. So I realized there's a need to learn about what it is. And the reason that I'm so passionate about, and the reason I feel it is a need to learn about it, is because of personally the story, and I'm going to tell my story a little bit later, the massive amount of opportunity and emotional relief that myself and my family has experienced by creating residual income. So we're going to dive into what it is. If you've never heard of it, if you're here because you're curious, if something inside you is pulsing, like I kind of know about it, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something with it, if you're already creating it, if you've already created it, we're a spectrum of people here. I just want to say thank you. This is a conversation that I feel this Zoom right here, all of you being here in this time and space, has inspired me to just be at the beginning of really getting this dialogue going in a massive way. So first, what I want to talk about is the difference between making money and building wealth. Now, I didn't know anything about this growing up, and I would actually offer to say that financial literacy, actually go ahead and drop a 1 in the comments if you were taught financial literacy growing up, drop a 2 if you were not, like myself. I have been learning financial literacy only in the last few years, taking it upon myself to learn about it because of these concepts like residual income that were introduced to me. And I was like, what is that? It's opening up whole new worlds. And I said, I need to learn more about this. This is incredible. And why do I not know about this already? So I'm seeing a lot of 2s. Okay, so we're pretty much in the same boat. In fact, not a single 1. Yeah, okay. So I would also venture to say that it's intentional that we were not taught financial literacy, because when we understand the options and the opportunities that exist, we create freedom in our lives. So teaching financial literacy from the standpoint of an economic system that is based on kind of keeping people on the hamster wheel to keep the capitalist machine going and keeping people building other people's dreams instead of their own, teaching them financial literacy would be like teaching prisoners how to escape from jail. Like, you just wouldn't do that if you were a jail warden. Well, we might, but if you're trying to keep your prisoners in prison, you wouldn't do that. But what would you do? You would instill fear in them. You would talk about how dangerous it would be if they even tried to break out of prison, right? So we see a lot of media sharing all kinds of information about how dangerous it is to invest, and stock market crashes, and it's a recession and inflation and crisis, and right, there's a lot of fear being put out there, and there always has been. It obviously goes in waves and cycles, and we have these things, right? And I venture to say that it's very intentional to keep us keeping the hamster wheel going for the ones who are profiting off of it, which is a very small percentage of people. And I'm here to say there's an alternative, and they don't want us to know about it, but I want you to know about it. I want more people to know about it so that we can really free ourselves, so we can play in this expansive playground, and that we can really ultimately equip ourselves to be the pillars of our communities who have financial sovereignty, who have resources, who can then make positive contributions to creating the world that we really want to pass on to future generations. And that we as families or individuals can really live the life that is inside of us, telling us this is the life that you were born to live, your personal dream, your personal vision, your original blueprint of what your human experience can be. We have every capacity to actually live that, despite what kind of conditioning and patterning and programming we might be getting. So this solution is what really shifted it for me. And what excites me the most about this dialogue and being in conversation and teaching people about this is that shift, is when people say, you know, I have bought into, or I have been following somebody else's agenda of what they think my life should look like, whether it's society or a boss or parents or teachers or whatever. And I want to create the life that's in myself. And making that shift and being and given those resources, given a landscape of like, this is possible, right? Because I didn't know it was possible. I thought the same thing. Go to school, get a job, hopefully have a retirement, although that's like a pretty meager reality anymore. And, hope for the best, right? In the meantime, somehow you're going to squeeze some life out of that existence. And I just early on was like, nope, I don't want to do that. So I suppose the alternative is just to be in poverty, right? I just thought that was the only way to play the money game. And so really what we're here to do today is talk about the alternatives. And what's so exciting is that right now, people are choosing these alternatives now more than ever. There was the great resignation, however long period of time that was ago, or we're still kind of in it. If you don't know about it, check it out. But it was just a bunch of people realizing, wait a second, there is so much more life to live in me than to just give my whole life away to this job. And I want out. And I know that I can do something else because I'm seeing other people do it. And the internet has basically been a whole disruptor of the old model of the 9 to 5, of the American dream, of the hamster wheel, right? That now we have all kinds of people making money online in all different kinds of ways, from all different parts of the globe, from all different backgrounds. And it's beautiful. People are really discovering freedom, and let's keep proliferating that. That's what this dialogue is really here to do. Because for me, even when I knew that that was happening, I still thought, well, that's other people. Like, has anybody, drop a 3 if you've ever felt that? Like, that's other people. Those lucky people who make it through, that's somebody that's not me, right? That's like some other like species or something. Right? That's how I felt, right? I'm normal and they're extraordinary. And then it crossed my path and I was shown the way and I was given the tools and I hungered for it enough to make it happen. You're going to, again, hear some stories today that I then discovered, oh, wait a second, there is no us and them. There is no like division. It's just the people who are exposed to it. So maybe today you're being exposed to it for the first time, and shown the pathway, the formula, the systems, and then go and make it happen. And so I'm gonna break down kind of the formula for you in a little bit as well. But that's really the only difference. Nobody else is more special than you. Like literally every single person here is so extraordinarily special. And just by making the decision to build residual income or any of these alternative streams that we're going to be talking about is such a beautiful contribution to the world. We're living in times where your gift is needed and is going to be needed so much in these rapidly shifting times, and these times where so much is being broken down and so much is needing to be rebuilt and so much is needing to be healed, that whatever your gift is, it's literally, the world is waiting to receive it from you. And so choosing to build residual income is not only a personal responsibility to the human collective, in my opinion, but also it's those of us who make that decision, we are taking full responsibility for the outcome of our future instead of just surrendering it to somebody else's version of what our life should look like. And that is really sovereignty. That is saying, I take responsibility. It's not easy. I will not sit here on the Zoom and tell you like, oh, it's just, easy walk in the park. I will explain what's hard and what's easy about it, because there is an element of ease to it, especially compared to the alternatives. But it is definitely the ones who take responsibility and say, I can be the driver of my life, of my community, of helping shape this world. So that's a little bit about the difference between making money, which is more going to a job, trading dollars for hours. It's more of a linear model. It's more of the old school paradigm. And even and the other version is more leveraged. It's more about taking any money that you might have, and it might not be yours, it might be somebody else's at the beginning, and leveraging that and making that money work for you. So that's really the difference. One is like, we're working for money, and the other is, the money's working for you. So which one feels better to you, one or two, right? And feel it in your body, because we are going to be talking about really how this even affects our nervous systems. Even all of that programming and fear around, now is not a time to invest, all of this, the crashes and the recessions and all of this stuff. It's actually, once you do the research, and I'm not a financial actually, the idea of even a financial advisor is on its way out. That's an old school model of like you paying somebody to tell you what to do with your money. This is like the playground. Like I said, this is for us to come in and discover, to do our own research, to use our intuition, to find out what's out there, to play, to collaborate, to partner, and see what works, see what feels good, see what's happening, and diversify, right? Because one stream can be vulnerable, but it can also give us mobility. It can give us that ability to, okay, I have one stream. Now what can I do to start one more? So again, we're going to talk about this, but I just really want to paint that picture that despite what we're being told, it's actually a really beautiful time to start another stream of income. It's a potentially the most safe time. I mean, really, if you're talking about investing, things are so low, it's a great time to get in. Again, I'm not an investing expert. This is my opinion. This is my perspective. But I am here to talk about residual income and how to build that and the difference between that and other streams. So hopefully this is all going to land and make sense. But more millionaires are born out of recessions, and more businesses are started out of recessions than any other time. So obviously there's something really powerful and potent and fertile about these times. So I'm excited that we're here having this dialogue. Keep sharing it with other people. Let's really be the ones that we're waiting for to make that change and dive in. So I also want to ask you here today, like, how many of you, when you hear me talking about investing and wealth and all of these different terms that I'm bringing in, like, is anybody noticing different things in their nervous system? Drop a 3 if like you're noticing anything, and drop some words if you want to speak to what that is. Some of you might be feeling some like ease and relaxation, knowing like, or hearing that there's alternatives. But is anybody also noticing like any kind of tightness or like flight response around even talking about money or facing our financial future and being the ones who create it, right? So I'm seeing 3, tightening, cringe, restraint, nervous system tension. Yes, and then somebody else saying it feels comforting and assuring, alleviating the tightness and worry to hear about these solutions. Creativity bloom, beautiful, I love that. Oh, that's great. I love the language you're using. It's all positive and uplifting. Yes, and I will say money has been a complete monster in my life growing up. I was like, Like, and now that I've dove into teaching myself financial literacy, and I invite everyone here to dive in as much as you want, because we all have money wounds. We're all part of inheriting so much from thousands of years of this story happening in the human collective about money and greed and control and power, and suppressing our birthright to be abundant and co-creative and free. So really what so much of this is doing is freeing us. And the more that I learn about these ideas, because I was definitely like, I was like, stock market, crashes, like all of that was freaky concepts. Like I was just total avoidance. Somebody taught me at one point the term money avoidance. I was like, that is me. I was like, run as far away as possible. But when I started to face it and started to learn about it, it's been really healing to my nervous system to realize, well, where's all this coming from? Oh, it's from this very intentional agenda to keep us down. And I'm all here for helping, overcome that, helping as many of us as possible overcome that. So now I'm excited about it. Now it's like super juicy and exciting to me, especially when I can help other people feel the same way. So it's very empowering. That financial literacy is extremely empowering. And so let's see, yeah, expansion, excitement, I'm not alone. Yes, exactly. It's like, these are also have been taboo subjects, right? So we don't get to talk about this. You don't go to dinner parties so much and like dive into these subjects, or maybe you do and you're like in the right crowds. Invite me over. I love talking finances. I really do. Now it's like really lights me up. Ease, lovely to hear someone talk about this. Yes, need for deep exhales. So let's see, let me just bring myself back to my notes here. So just check in with your nervous system as we move through this and as you're, discovering all this, because it's also a really great ally to support you, right? Because when we can face these charged topics and also regulate our nervous system and bring ourselves into calm and take those deep exhales and do it together, that can make us a very powerful force. We can then have those conversations with people without escaping and running out of our, getting in our heads or leaving our bodies or whatever. Like we can really stay present with that dialogue and help this collective healing. So that's really what excites me. Again, this shift of people raising their hand and saying, I choose to stop being a follower of somebody else's plan for my life, and I choose to create my vision for my life. And that is the vision for your life, and I will repeat that again, is the number one part of how this all works. When you get a crystal clear vision in your mind of what your life wants to look like, your future looks like, what would be the most absolutely glorious life for you to be living, when you get that crystal clear vision, that is exactly how the various income streams that you bring in work towards creating that. So they become, they're working for you. You're having those different flows of money work for you to create that vision. So we're the boss, right? And we create that vision, and the vision's the boss, really, to bring in those income streams. So it's going to look different for everybody because everybody's vision is different for their life. So the old way that's already on its way, it's crumbling, it's leaving, we're saying goodbye to it, but it's good to recognize it so we can check in and make sure we're moving on to the new, not getting too caught up in the old. But it's that linear, the trading your dollars for hours, and not to put any judgment on it. There will always be jobs and there will always be a need for people to start out in that way. And for certain people, that's an absolutely perfect reality. So it's not a judgment on being in a job or having a job or being an employer of people with jobs. It's just to say that it can only take you so far. It has a cap. You might be able to get a certain amount of promotions within that job, but even then it's still only so far in that job. You only have so many hours of the day. You only have so many days of your life. So it has a limitation to it. And that's all I'm here to talk about, is just when you're looking for something as glorious as the vision in your heart, or as revolutionary as changing the world, then we're looking for something that's like really a quantum leap from just working a job. So again, each person's different. And there's even the idea of starting your own business. So this is where we think like, okay, that's different, right? Because I'm my own boss and I'm starting my own business and I have my own, I'm doing everything. And some people find that they no longer own a business, but the business owns them. Drop a 4 if that's been you. If you've ever been that entrepreneur who was so excited to start your own business and then felt really consumed by it and wasn't feeling that freedom or the ease or the getting ahead that you had originally gone into it for. Okay, so there's a bunch of 4s there. So some of the ways of the old paradigm even include the deep hustle and grind and burnout of being a solo entrepreneur. So, and then of course, the idea of, building somebody else's dreams instead of building your own. Some of the ways that the new that we're moving into includes, and so let me talk about actually the different kinds of income here. So there's active income. Active is you are doing something and getting paid for it. So it can be the dollar per hour model. It can be even the solo entrepreneur model where you offer a service, maybe you're a practitioner, and you get paid for your service. And it can be having a job. It's just something where you're active. It can be being on a Zoom and you're doing something and you're actively getting paid for it in that moment. The thing is, when you stop doing that thing, you stop getting paid. That's active income. Like when you stop, you're done. And one of the limitations of that model is if you feel called to do something else, care for a loved one, have a maternity leave, go on a vacation, take really good care of your own self, maybe you have some health issues that could use your attention, or maybe you're just wanting to prevent having health issues by giving yourself some good self-care and taking that time, or spending time with family, going on an extended vacation, doing a project to, make the world a better place, whatever it is. If you have an income stream that is only active, then you just don't get paid when you're not doing that income stream. And so moving into other forms of income, and really the heart of this talk is this idea of residual income, where you are basically putting systems in place initially to create a flow that continues, because these systems continue even when you're done being active with them. So I will say, as somebody who has planted an orchard, I think an orchard is one of the most beautiful forms of residual income. Initially, there's money and time investment, labor, getting the tree from somebody, or from a grafter, a nursery, or doing it yourself, and then maybe digging the hole, maybe there's equipment involved, maybe just a shovel. Either way, it's work, maybe amendments, maybe it's moving big rocks out of the hole. Drop a 6 if you've been a planter. If you've planted trees, it's like it's very gratifying work because what comes. And initially you're doing a lot of weeding, and you're maybe mowing, or maybe you're weed whacking. Like the grass in certain places can really choke out those baby trees. Maybe you're putting up cages to protect it from the wind. Maybe you're putting netting over to protect it from animals or birds. There can be a lot of care at the very beginning. But I can say, living in an orchard that I've been helping plant for over a decade, almost 2 decades, those trees don't need anything anymore. Like, we just go and pick the fruit now. That's residual income. Like, we just are receiving at this point. They could probably use some pruning, actually. There's always a little bit of something. But that's just kind of a visual of how residual income works. It's that you're putting these systems in place. It might be irrigation, but you're just doing that maintenance until it's up and running on its own. And the systems really in this case are, you know, the great intelligence of the plant kingdom and the soil world. So that's, that's personally one of my residual income streams. And the reason that I will say, one of the reasons that if you're on the Zoom and you don't know about residual income or you haven't started to build it, one of the biggest blocks is that it does take upfront work that you don't get paid for. Nobody gave us anything to plant those trees, right? It was all based on our vision of how glorious it would be to have an orchard eventually. I love that quote. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now, right? Like, you literally cannot go buy a 20-year-old orchard. It would be the most amazing thing. So all you can do is create it and say, that would be amazing to do starting now. And maybe even before you can plant an orchard, you're working on, okay, how do I get the land? Where do I get the seeds? Like, what are the tools? How about investing in my education, learning how to cultivate and all that? So getting the vision and working backwards. That can take some grit. That can take some stamina. That can take some the power of imagination and belief, especially when nobody else believes in it, especially when they're judging you for it, especially when they think you're crazy for it, right? Like, you have to be so married to that vision that nobody can get between you and that vision. Be so loyal, such a good partner to that vision that nobody can get in there and mess with it. And that takes strength of character. It also takes consistency. You can't give up. If we, and we did, believe me, we gave up. We did not stay consistent with some of our orchard trees. So tragic. At one point, we had the largest planted durian orchard on the island. We lost half of them. So sad, because life, we got distracted, we were overwhelmed, and they got consumed by grass. They're a sensitive young tree. I know, yum, right? We have now invested in, I think, 80 more trees. So we're rebuilding to be the biggest durian orchard. That's one of our big visions. Where was I? I got a little lost in the durian magic for a moment there. Consistency. You have to stay consistent to see it come through. So consistency, vision, taking action, but small, consistent actions, regularly, smart actions. And I will say, probably the hardest part, because if you're just doing that small steps every day, that's not too bad. That's not really that hard. It's not even full-time hours. The rat race is way harder. Burnout is way harder. Poverty is way harder. The hardest part about this is the piece of letting go of all the beliefs that aren't you and reclaiming you and saying, who am I? Who am I? Who am I really? And what is the life that I'm really here to create? Outside of like all the chatter of all the other things that I might have accumulated over my whole life or over generations, over, every day living in this world. That's the hard part. That's the hardest part. And it can be heartbreaking. It can be heart-wrenching. It can be devastating. It can be can involve mourning and grief. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be that painful, but it can be. I'm curious, who here has started to or built residual income? Drop an 8 in the comments. And drop a 9 in the comments if you haven't yet, but you're like, this is resonating for me and I'm ready to start my journey. This makes sense. This is what I've been looking for. Beautiful. I'm seeing 8s and 9s. So I want to just check my notes here. So a few more examples to kind of break down the different streams, right? So we have active, you're doing something, it stops. You stop getting paid and we stop doing the thing. Then we have leveraged, which so let's say you're a practitioner and you're like, okay, I'm only going to get paid every time I give a session to somebody, but I would like to create some leveraged income. So I'm going to create a course. And now I'm creating one course, I'm doing the work one time, and yet people can keep buying that course over and over and over. That's leveraged. You're leveraging that one time, you're leveraging your network, you're leveraging the trust people have built in you and that can continue to build in you. You're leveraging perhaps social media and marketing to keep an income stream coming in that you don't have to keep doing. So it's no longer active. So that's an example of leveraged. And another, and the same thing with like online courses, retreats, things like that. And another version of leveraged is affiliate marketing. So with affiliate marketing, it's not even your product. You don't even have to create the thing. Somebody else creates a product or a course or anything, and you share about it. You just talk about it with your network, with your people. You get a commission, you get a kickback, you get an affiliate referral commission for sharing. And it's really mutually beneficial, right? Like they've got access to your network, you're not having to create anything. They're doing all the work, the website, the branding, the product itself, even the affiliate link, right? They create all that and you just get to share. That's a beautiful way to create leveraged income. And the final way that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to pass it over to my colleague who's extraordinary, and I'm so excited to hear from her too, is network marketing. And this is really how I have built my residual income, and several people here on this call have as well. And this is where you take the affiliate marketing concept, right? Somebody creates a product that you don't even have to create or ship or market or brand or website or any of that stuff. And you marry it with this generational pay plan. So now instead of me just getting an affiliate commission for sharing something, I'm going to turn around and teach some more people how to do what I just did. And they can turn around and share with some more people how they did what I did. And that can go on and on and on. And you can get paid on multiple, in this whole lineage, this whole family tree that you're creating, you can get paid on all these different interactions that you're not even part of anymore. All based on the systems that you put in place with the first people or the direct people that you work with. And so again, just like the orchard, the more care you give to it up front, initially, you can see this really beautiful harvest later on. I'm aware that network marketing has had and can trigger like feelings in people. And this is a safe place to explore all of that. Like I said, we're going to be tuning into our nervous system. So I'm curious if like hearing about network marketing, triggered anything for anyone. If you notice like like anything in your body or in your mind around that concept. And And I will also say that these nervous system responses are such great guides. They're such great clues for where, if we lean in and explore, we can open up like a huge amount of available energy in that space that we can then utilize towards what we're really wanting to create. So it can feel stuck at first, but we can get in there and play with it and actually receive a ton of energy from facing it. So it's triggering for me, I'm hearing here in the comments, because I'm open to it, but my partner has had a really bad reaction about it last week and caused a big rift with us. Okay, that is so common. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing that. Because it's really common for people to not really understand. Most people, and Rachel's going to get into this too, but most people don't really understand what it is. I think it's a combination of what I spoke to earlier. It's one of these very freeing solutions in our economy that the powers that be would not want people to know about, because we're talking people can come in at an entry level without any college degree, without any special qualifications. Some people can do it without even having any money of their own to begin. And if they do, maybe, and a lot of times it's like a very, very low cost of entry. So for something to be that accessible and for people to build massive, uncapped wealth, 6, 7, 8 figures and beyond, for just average people, these are self-made millionaires often. And I actually don't like the word self-made, because I really believe anybody who can, turn straw into gold and come from a background of not having inherited wealth and create wealth, they're not necessarily self-made, right? They're made by their family and their community and all the people who have poured into them. I'm sure there are some stories of completely people just charging it by themselves, but just to honor all of the ways that we're supported. This is the disruption. Before, it was like we're going to have this wealthy families and they're going to pass it on and their next generations are going to be wealthy and blah 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 blah, but everybody else is going to be peasants. And now it's like, oh no, wait, all the peasants can like rise all the way up and maybe even above, because some of these other people are stuck in some other stories. So yeah, and I want to say too about this husband thing, I can relate. I've been there, and the resilience that you create, the belief that you cultivate within yourself that is stronger than your partner allows you to create the majesty that allows them to come up and see it and then believe in it too. And that's hard work. Like when I talked about like, how is this hard? That's hard. It's amazing. It's so empowering and liberating, but it is hard. And we need each other. That's why like one of the most amazing things about network marketing is that it is a community and we help each other in this way. We lift each other up, we hear each other's tales of woe, and we show each other what's possible. We inspire each other. Everybody's rise in network marketing is a win for everybody, because it just keeps opening doors of possibility and shines a light and shows people, oh yeah, that's possible. Look what she did. I can do that too. So yes, I'm staying married to my vision, and that is stronger than anyone's judgment. Beautiful. That's exactly right. So let's see if I have anything else I want to say. The people with money in this world, they know how to make it grow without effort. And that's not without effort, right? We talk about the initial effort with residual income, but that eventually that money is growing without effort. And several of the financial literacy people that I've learned from, that I've studied, just from podcasts, from YouTubes, from books, just stuff out there. If anybody wants to drop names in the comment for people to get ideas, I literally just go on Spotify and hit up podcasts and put in different keywords. But Eric Worre and Robert Kiyosaki, and they both say for anybody building wealth, And wealth is being able to take whatever you have and invest it and make it grow and work for you, right? And keep growing. The easiest way to start out if you don't have anything is network marketing. So that is the easiest ground level to go in. And then when you have some wealth, the best thing you can do is invest it. And now we're talking about the final stream of income that I wanted to get to, which is passive, right? You literally just put your money into something, you can forget about it. And it's just sitting there growing. And that might be stocks, it might be crypto, it might be real estate. And again, if you're like, ah, if any part of you is doing that, just notice it and say, hi, I'm here. And then invite the play of, again, get your vision. It's all about your vision for your life, your crystal clear, unique blueprint. And then go out and do the research and find the solutions that are going to work to become the different streams of income to build that vision for you. For me, it was network marketing. That may not be for you. And now it's like investing in other things. And it's also investing in our communities and our future and our children and the legacy of art and culture. All of those are beautiful investments. They may not be like the biggest money return, but isn't that the whole point of having wealth, is to really pour into the places that we want to create it? Okay. I'm not gonna get, let me see. Okay, I think this is a question about distinguishing between, like, people think of, actually, I'm gonna let Rachel answer that because that's part of what she's here to cover. So I think that's probably a great segue. And, I just wanna say thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this shift and making that decision for yourself. And we're just starting out. And it's so exciting what we can create with this. So stick with it, and see those trees bear fruit. So Rachel is amazing. So many hats this woman wears. Coach, nurturing mentor, business extraordinaire, bodybuilder, supporting her family in the Philippines. So many incredible things you do, Rachel. Ayurvedic and regenerative detox specialist, or practitioner. And I'm just so excited to hear what you add to this dialogue, because you just always bring like all the things I don't. And I love how complimentary we are. So thank you.
Yes, we always work in such good synergy, and I really, really appreciate that everyone who's come here today. I just thought that was an incredible talk, Christina. I am just like taking notes and just want to listen to this recording again. So many gems in what you shared, and I love the build up, like helping people understand kind of all these different ways to have residual income, the importance of having multiple streams of income. And right now, like the wave is having online income. I mean, online income is literally a stronghold. It is a very important buffer to have in your resources, to have an online income, especially when we look at what happened for the last 3 years with the pandemic, and seeing how many people ended up out of work and then trying to scrambling to find ways to make ends meet, because they didn't have an online income that was producing. And in our industry, in network marketing, well, many people actually flourished during this time, especially the company that Christina and I have both been working with for the last eight plus years. Our company actually tripled in revenue, and it grew during a time that was the hardest. So during a recession, during any time where things are getting hard, this is the kind of business that will help you stay afloat. It does require work. It does require time and energy. And there's a lot of myths surrounding network marketing and a lot of confusion. There's a lot of great things that are said about network marketing. It is not a perfect system. There is no perfect system, but it is, in my opinion, the most beneficial. It is the best system for creating residual income. It is the best system for creating a sustainable system. Course creation is great. I create courses. I've created courses. It's wonderful. It's nice. You can have that all year round, but it's not the same as network marketing. You couldn't make a network marketing business out of course creation. You would have friends sell it, and then that would be an affiliate. And a lot of course creators do that. They'll have friends or other clients, help sell their product, and they can get a commission. They can sell it on their Instagram page and be an affiliate. And we have a lot of that going on. But imagine if all those people, if I'm like sharing this with my friends on Instagram and I'm saying, hey, you guys can sell it on your page too. And then that way you guys, are making a commission. And then I said, and I'm making that money, but also you guys can share it with all of your friends and they can all make commission and you can make commission. And then I'm making commission because I'm now helping govern and manage the process and helping you learn how to sell it to your friends and helping your friends learn how to sell it to their friends. And so pretty soon we're like using each other's networks and it just keeps exploding. And that's what is happening now that we have social media, which network marketing hasn't always had social media. But now that we have these online platforms, there's social media, sponsored ads, all these different ways to get the word out in like huge quantities to community. Now more than ever is the best time to actually be involved in network marketing because it's the easiest time to be involved in network marketing. And that's one of the reasons that it is so sustainable, is because it's so easy to spread the word these days. It's just, you end up with networks in other countries. I've got a network in Europe. I have a huge network in Canada. I have people in Hawaii. I have people all over the United States. And it has been just this amazing community that just keeps growing. So there's also the community aspect that you meet and make so many friends. And there's also this amazing opportunity this basically a business school. So when we talk about people, there's about the different, things that can bar entry into either a business or can bar entry into, if you're wanting to become a lawyer, maybe you can't afford law school, maybe you can't, maybe there's you have to depend on someone hiring you may not get the job. I mean, there's all these things, right? And then you spend an exorbitant amount of money on school. And so what's so beautiful about network marketing, it is just completely accessible to everyone. And you don't have to have an education, you don't have to have a lot of money to get started, and yet it has such an opportunity to be lucrative and to reach so many different communities around the world. So these are some of the wonderful benefits of network marketing. Some of the myths around network marketing are really interesting. So imagine some people will say, is that a pyramid scheme? And this has become so blurred with what network marketing is, because I just really want to understand, for people to understand what an actual pyramid scheme is. Okay, like an actual pyramid scheme, a Ponzi scheme, there is no product. There's actually no product. No one's getting anything for their money, right? They're like, oh, well, my mom was involved in a Ponzi scheme. I have friends on this call who've been involved in Ponzi schemes where they say, oh, well, we're going to give you this investment over here. And my mom's financial advisor actually told her to get involved in this, right? We've got this building being created. We're going to give you a huge return. There's almost a promise of a huge return. And then, we're going to give you monthly, right? So in order to pay, there's no product that actually doesn't exist. They've lied to you. There's actually no building. And so you think that you're getting involved in this investment that's property. And so then they start giving you money every month. Well, where's that money coming from? Well, it's coming from your own investment, plus all the new people they're bringing in and their investments, and they're using those investments to pay you into house of cards, because eventually there's not enough people, and then it collapses, and then all of a sudden you stop receiving payment, and then you try to get your money out and you can't because there's no money. And then those people end up going to jail, committing suicide, stuff like that. So I really want to emphasize that what that is that there's no product, there's no money coming from anything. So that's like a true pyramid scheme. Okay, so that's why when people say to us, is this a pyramid scheme? It's so unnerving because it's like, no, of course it's not a pyramid scheme. Not at all. It's not. There is a product. When you pay for something, you're going to get it in the mail. I promise you, it's going to get in the mail, which is another beautiful thing about network marketing these days is you get it in the mail. You don't, in the old school, one of the things that used to give MLMs a bad rap. So MLM, multi-level marketing, it's another word for network marketing, but it's more of an old school term because it refers back in the day when people used to have to buy product. And so here's what has left a bad taste in people's mouth is people used to have to buy a ton of product, hold it in their garage or wherever, and then they would just keep buying product and then not have enough people to sell it to. So they end up spending more than they're actually making. And that's no good either. I mean, this is, you have to be really good at sales to be able to, handle that. And so what's so beautiful is that these days with everything online now is network marketing has just gained so much more integrity because people don't end up spending all their money and then being out of money. You don't have to spend any money. Everything is at the warehouse. And so you just are bringing, you're just bringing customers and connecting them with the company, and then the company delivers their product and you don't have to pay for any of that. So that's so beautiful. It's so much different when you have an online store because you don't have to hold any product. How many of you have actually had a boutique or a store where you have inventory and you have this huge investment of money and then you have to figure out how to sell it? I had a girlfriend who took out a $70,000 loan for a small boutique store in the Midwest. And it would have taken her decades to pay off that debt at the amount that she was earning. So the entire time she was in business, and eventually that business folded after like 5 years, she ended up folding that business. She never made profit ever on that business. She had this loan that she ended up having to pay back, and after 5 years. And so a lot of people who are entrepreneurs who start businesses end up being in debt for the entire time. They're in debt for at least 5 years. And this is the norm. This has been normalized to be in business and to be in debt at the same time. And I love network marketing because you don't end up in debt. You buy your product and now you have a business and you don't start out in debt, but you can have the option of accumulating wealth through learning how to share this product with your friends and family, which is based on your wonderful experience. You get to tell everyone this is so great. You do that anyway. How many of you tell everyone there's a great movie? How many of you tell everyone there's you've got to eat at this place? Imagine if you were getting paid a percentage for every single person you recommended to every store or every movie, how much income you would generate. How many people did you tell to see the first Avatar? I haven't seen the second one. It's like we actually put the work into that multi-million-dollar movie that made so much money. We were the ones who brought them that money. Well, imagine if we got a kickback for that. What's wrong with that? That's all this is. We're just getting a little kickback for sharing something that we were going to share anyway because it's worthwhile. There's this concept sometimes people have around network marketing that there's not enough people and eventually you'll run out, and then that's when the house of cards falls, and then all of a sudden people are going to lose money because now it's saturated. The whole community knows about it. Everyone's already bought the product. There's not enough people. This is a total fab also. This is completely constructed. Because honestly, in network marketing, the more people who know, the more the popular the product becomes known, the more easy it is to sell because everyone knows about it now. So there's two perks. If you're the first person in your community, no one's ever heard about it, great. You get all the warm leads. But then once everyone knows about it, there's this whole other boom of just oh my gosh, Furium. Oh my gosh, I love that product. I've been hearing my friends, everyone's having good news. Let me try it. And so there's also that. And every year, there's millions of new people on this earth. Millions of people are being born every day, and there's always new people. So we're never going to run out of people. So that's another myth. So I just want to kind of help people understand that, you are actually also in school. That's the other beautiful thing is that we provide a school. We're giving you business school for free. So if you ever were I thought about getting my master's in business, $50,000 later, whatever you've learned and however many years that took, you weren't getting paid that whole time because you were in school. Well, guess what? You get to learn as you go here. We have an amazing school of people who are like mission-centered, who are heart-centered, who really have a really, really strong ethic, who very much care about the world and the state of things and want to make a difference. I mean, this company is also one of those. All right. They have created plastic-free products. And not only that, have created a nonprofit plastic-free incentive for all businesses and are raising money to help educate people and other businesses and create a world that's plastic-free, a world of businesses that are plastic-free. Our founders have created that. So how amazing is that? So not only are you creating, do we have a product that's organic and sustainable and helps people with health. I'm assuming you guys know these things, but I realize if you're new to the call, you might not know. So I'm sharing, I've started getting into sharing. I mean, there's other network marketing companies, but I'm sharing specifically about the one that I'm involved with, and I've been involved with others, but this one is the one that wins my heart. You know, this company is all about, the founders of this company are the ones who lobbied and got the entire nation the USDA organic food label. All of our produce is labeled because of the founders of our company lobbying to get that done. Thank you. They care. And that's how I know this is a mission I can get behind, because I know the owners. One of them is married to one of my dear friends. She's on my team, and they have a baby together. And I've seen his heart firsthand, had many, many, many conversations. He's a very good friend of mine, David Sandoval. And Amy Venner, and Amy Venner is the co-founder, another amazing angel, people who really care. The standards are beyond organic. We grow our food in regenerative soil. We own the means to production. We own the farms. We know what goes into those farms. We make sure there's no toxic chemicals, metals, pesticides, herbicides, all that things for at least 100 miles surrounding the farms. We put utmost care into every single detail in the process to make sure that we bring you the most top quality products that are really going to benefit you and your community and the earth. All of it, all of that matters. We are in an age where we don't have time anymore to not make this kind of a decision. We're at a crossroads on this earth, on this planet. I think we can all agree we are at a crossroads where if we don't make a change now, it gets to be too late. We're almost at the too late point. But it is time to only invest our money in things that are safe for the planet and safe for people. It is a time where we must 1,000% invest our entire hearts and all of our soul and all of our minds into making sure that we're only supporting companies with this type of mission. And so of all the network marketing companies, that is why I've chosen this company. They have a why that makes me cry. Like, I'm holding back tears right now, trying to be professional. But that's how much I believe in and love this company and its mission. And I love network marketing because it has helped so many of my friends. Friends of mine who have joined this company. I have one friend. I'm just going to go ahead and tell this story. We have different ranks in the company. And so she worked really, really hard on her business and trained a lot of people and helped a lot of people earn income. And then she had some personal stuff come up and she had to take a 2-year break. She took a 2-year break, didn't work this business at all. Didn't work this business at all for 2 whole years. And I just held her team and I was supporting her while she was off. She figured out that she was earning about a couple $1,000s a month for every month that entire 2 years. So while she was not working for 2 whole years, she figured out that she earned about $30,000. Where can you earn $30,000 in 2 years without working, having made an investment of like nothing? And the only investment was her time and energy and her love for her team and the people that she was with. Where else can you have that kind of dream happen where you're supported and sustainable and sustained? How many of you have a safety net? And this isn't even the other friend who had cancer, who was also sick for a while and had, I'm not even talking about her. I know you guys probably think that's who I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about her. I'm talking about another friend. Those of you who know who I'm talking about. But how many of you have a safety net where if you had some kind of catastrophe or a life-threatening illness or something happened to your child, where you could actually take off and be with those people or that person or that being or with that issue with yourself for like 3 months, 6 months, or even a year or 2 years and still get paid as an entrepreneur or as a paid employee of someone else? How many of you could earn income while you're taking care of your personal needs, whatever that is, whether it's health or taking care of a parent, a dying parent, or doing something that you truly need to do, that you feel a strong desire and need to give to that, but you can't because you've got a job or you've got something else, these responsibilities of bills and things like that. This is why it behooves you, everyone, to have an online business, especially in network marketing. And of course, I would vote for that you would choose Purium. But network marketing in general it really is the best business model on the planet. So I'll end with that. I'm so grateful for that this company has given me the opportunity to feed my family in the Philippines. I went from living in my car to having just an incredible amount of abundance that I could share with others, as well as helping so many people transform their health and being a part of the solution for the earth. So thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Rachel. And let me tell my story really quick, and then I'm just going to close out with how you can take some next steps if this is lighting you up. So, my husband and I had a vision of transforming raw land into a permaculture sanctuary, abundant gardens and orchards and places for people to come and heal and celebrate and do workshops and education and support native culture proliferation. And we didn't have money. So to get raw land and bring in all the infrastructure and raise our family and have some sort of human life was a puzzle that I couldn't quite figure out. My husband went and opened a brick and mortar in hopes of making the income to really develop the land, but instead he really just got pulled away from the family and the land. That's hence the dying durian trees. And in starting a brick and mortar from scratch with huge overhead was not bringing in immediate income. So I was at a crossroads where I said the most logical thing would have been to sell the land and say this was a pipe dream, nice try. That was what everybody was telling us. Purium crossed my path, and I said, there it is. That's the solution I'm looking for to actually make this dream happen. And I dove in, and I was coachable, and I was consistent, and I had a vision, and I took the action steps, and I pushed through the hard parts of decluttering what wasn't really me so that I could become myself and rise in leadership, and then now have an income that is cultivating the land, developing the land, bringing all of that abundance and fertility to the soil and community offerings to people, and on and on and on. Plus, my got to retire my husband, so we're home together, spending as much time playing and being present with our boys, living life on our terms, life by design. And we mostly like play and farm, and I spend a couple hours a day working online to help support other people to create this and to keep the systems going. So if this is landing for you and you're excited to learn more, get with the person who shared this with you And I wanted to just really briefly tell you that the way that you can get started to grow an income like Rachel and I have grown, and many other people, is that we all start out the exact same way. We bought our first 30-day package of superfoods. And most of us will dive in and do a 90-day transformation to really experience the power of these superfoods. You can learn more about why, and Rachel touched on it, why these are such extraordinary superfoods, unlike anything else out there. But literally, just for the cost of your own superfoods that you're going to consume and feel amazing and transform your life, you get to start a free business that can become unlimited and residual. So there's various packages depending on if your focus is athleticism or gut health or anti-aging and collagen support or immune function. And they're going to range anywhere from 500 and mid 500 range is our highest value pack, all the way down to 330 something. And that's pretty amazing to be able to start an uncapped income stream that can become residual, can become passive, and give you the ability to continue to invest and let that money work for you. So again, that's just one of the different ways. I hope that you really got something out of this webinar. I hope that you go and share it with other people, because like I said, we're opening doors here that can really change the human collective, and we could all benefit from that, and so could the planet. So thank you everybody for being here. Thanks for being active in the chat. The replay will be available, and go out there and have an amazing day. Do something for yourself. Thank you so much, everybody.